All right, the next phase of your onboarding is setting up your project. So we're just going to go through a couple basics here and tell you what goes on in this section of your onboarding guide. The first thing is just going through the intended audience of this entire section is the getter-doners. It's the people who have to get the project done or deploy the CIMcloud platform. So if you're watching that, that's probably you. Welcome, and we're glad you're here. This typically includes, if you don't know the names of these things coming up, this will be covered in this section, but it's business stakeholders, program managers and architects, project managers and project planners, and the solution lead operator and solution product managers or business analysts. So for those involved, these are people that are typically involved or the critical roles in the overall CIM program and the execution of the various projects that are gaining capabilities and adoption on the CIMcloud platform. And we'll go into a lot more details as we go into this section here, but just know on a high level, we've got some best practices to share. First things first is just recognizing that you do have a project. If you've opted to self-service on the project function of this, that's great. Welcome. And we've got lots of resources that can help. But just recognize this is a project, whether you call it a project or not, or know you're the project manager or not, this is a project that needs to be managed to have a successful outcome. And again, we've got best practices to share if you're the project manager. The topics that we cover in this overall section, the intro, you're here right now, what we call the PPPS framework, which stands for Program, Projects, Platform, and Solution. And there's a lot more details coming on that, but understanding that framework will help size up and help you organize everything that's coming at you related to the specific goals you have for the first phase of deploying CIMcloud. We find that many people that are successful on the CIMcloud platform, many companies, have an overall CIM program that they roll out over the course of months and years of getting more and more capabilities for their customers to self-service and for their reps, for their overall rep or customer-facing employee enablement. And they do that through a series of projects, each that has a discrete set of deliverables or goals that they're trying to accomplish. So you may have a first phase of a project of just getting a B2B portal up so your customers can pay invoices and maybe place some orders, and your reps can see what's going on related to customer activity. That would be an example of one project on an overall program. There's 3 steps to plan your first project. We're going to go through that in detail and give you some tips to get off to a good start. We're going to talk through the team org chart, which is a critical role in the project. And some projects are small or have one person that's a one person does all or wears all hats. That's okay. There's other teams we see that have various companies represented, including subcontractors and a lot of people involved. The key here is understanding what the job functions are and making sure that you have the appropriate people, names in the seats of your org chart for your project. That's the number one cause of failures or delays or going over budget or problems with business stakeholders comes from not having an understanding of what the job functions are and not having the appropriate people in the seats wearing those hats or job functions. And again, one person can have many job functions. It's just critical that all the job functions are filled and you clearly identify who they are. And we're going to cover that. Then establishing your first or next project check-in call. The project check-in call is basically the backbone of the project. It's a simple tool that can be used to dramatically improve the speed and your ability to hit the project on time, on budget, and deliver the scope. And it establishes a cadence of credibility and basically a pulse of work that gets done between the meetings because they know the accountability is coming. And if you're the project manager, you're the one that's in charge of setting up those meetings, making sure the appropriate people are there, and making sure you have successful meetings. And we've got some tips for you on that. And then the last thing is understanding that we'll cover is understanding the help available to you. And there's a number of resources just within CIMcloud, the software side of our business. We also have a professional services group that can help with all things related to program, your projects, or the solution, as well as other third-party partners that can be happy to help out. So we're glad you're here. And if you just walk through this setting up your project, you've just gone through the intro section. I've just given you an overview of what you're going to see here, but you can dig in and read the articles and where applicable, watch the videos here, and you'll have a really good foundation to start from. Good luck, and let us know if we can help.